Alright guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we've got a brand that's completely new to the channel and new to myself. The team over at Gaston Luga reached out and wanted me to check out their products. They kindly sent over one of their most popular backpacks from their range, the Spläsh 2.0 utility backpack. Before we dive into the details, here's a quick intro to the brand. Gaston Luga is all about blending art, utility and sustainability. Founded by travel lover and sneaker enthusiast Carl Sundqvist in Stockholm, Sweden, the brand was born from the idea of creating a backpack that's just as desirable as collectible sneakers or a piece of modern art. Even the name itself, the abbreviations Luga, light urban global accessory, is a nod to the urban design and mobility. And from the ground up, sustainability has always been at the heart of what they do. Gaston Luga has been carbon neutral since 2019, which uses recycled PET materials in their bags and partners with ethical selected manufacturers. Now let's take a closer look at the Spläsh 2.0 and see how it fits into modern, functional, everyday carry. So let's start with the exterior. You'll immediately notice this polyester material has that kind of rubberized finish, something you've probably seen on other modern backpacks out there. A lot of brands using this texture tend to be more environmentally conscious. That's not to say others aren't, but Gaston Luga definitely takes it a step further when it comes to sustainability, which is always a good thing. Now this type of material is one of those things you either love or you don't. Personally, I sit somewhere in between. I don't mind it as long as it's part of a well-designed bag that suits my needs. And in this case, the Spläsh 2.0 utility backpack, I really feel like this one has a purpose in my setup, and that's exactly why I chose to go with this one in the first place. The catalogue of products from Gaston Luga is actually pretty minimal. You can really see that reflected here in the Spläsh 2.0. It does carry that clean, understated look which ties nicely into that Swedish design culture. Simple, functional and effortlessly stylish. This backpack fits right into that minimal setup or streetwear aesthetic with a neutral colour palette that works just with about anything. You might occasionally see a few popping colours for a campaign or specific project, but for the most part their colourways are quite muted and washed, giving off that calm minimal vibe which I personally really like. The one I got here is the top colourway, and honestly it's actually really nice. So as you can see, there aren't too many zips on this backpack, maybe just a one or two. The rest are G-webbing hooks instead. You can simply just clip it onto these attachment points right here, and there's multiple points for you to just slip it in, and it does lock in place and you can easily remove it as well, which is simple and clean. Yeah, you'll probably notice that these two grey vertical webbings across the front of the bag here. This is used to secure this top upper flap of this backpack, which you do fold it backwards, which I'll just show you in a bit. Along the bottom here you do get a larger gap, so I feel like this is to feed something through here, like a yoga mat or something horizontally that you might be using, and you could just store it here. It might be too thick for like a tripod for example, but maybe something thicker like a rolled up mat or something goes perfectly well in here. I also just want to let you know that I do have clothes in here that I've stuffed to just hold the shape a bit better because it's quite stiff, and the material has to be a bit loosened over time, I think. Yeah, just keep that in mind. And also do want to mention that this backpack is 8000 mm waterproof, which means it's well protected against rain and splashes. It's definitely in between sort of water resistant and waterproof. I think the highest is about 28000 mm. That would be considered like waterproof, so it does sit somewhere in between. You should get good waterproof protectability here. And then at the bottom here you'll notice embossed logo here with the Gaston Luga Stockholm branding subtly at the bottom here, which is really nice, and it's not too out there. So moving on to the sides, you do get two large pockets on both sides, both equal in size, and it does have 4 adjustment points that you could attach this webbing hook on. So you could adjust it to the size of an item in this pocket to give it a secure fit or a more looser fit. And yeah, it's very easy to hook onto, and once you open it up you do get this grey lining at the flap here, and it does resemble that type of material, sort of like ballistic nylon. Of course it's not that thick, but it's sort of that type of lining. And then yeah, you could use this as a water bottle holder as well if you wanted to. So I do have my Lark water bottle here. This is a 1 litre. It is quite thick in grip, or the width, and it does take a bit of fitting and pushing to get this in with items inside, but it does secure quite well here, and it does offer a good height for covering the height of the bottle here, so it doesn't spill out. You'll notice that it will sort of spill out, and it offers very good grip. One thing to note is that if you're a photographer like me, or you like to carry a tripod and you make content, there might be some limitations to this because there isn't really an exact grip for tripods. If they had maybe an external adjustable strap to hold it down as well. It would have been nice, but yeah, I don't think this was really tripod friendly, so just keep that in mind. It would have been really good to have that with it. Of course you could put it inside depending what tripod you have, but for me I might use a bigger tripod, and it still would fit in here, but it doesn't just have the external grip or strap to hold it down. So at the bottom we do have a flat base, which helps the bag stand upright once it's loaded. So stability wise, you should be perfectly fine. As you can see, it's standing on its own, especially when it's filled like this. We do have a large carrying handle at the top here. I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable handle out there, since it doesn't have extra padding. It's made from the same rubberized polyester material that's used throughout the bag, but it does offer a good amount of grip. More importantly, it matches the overall aesthetic, keeping that clean and cohesive look. Turning to the back, we do have the shoulder straps, which are relatively quite thin in width, pretty much what you expect from a minimal backpack. Personally, I do wish there was just a bit wider width for a slightly more comfortable feel during longer wear. Underneath, you do get that usual mesh material that you're pretty used to now, while the straps are a bit padded, but the overall design here is just quite simple and quite clean. The back panel itself is nicely padded, and it does have these groove sections to help with the mesh lining, to help with breathability, which is really good, but it's pretty simple and nothing exactly too sophisticated. And then you do have this horizontal luggage strap, which will allow you to feed your luggage through here and keep this bag upright. At the side here, there is a little Swedish flag here, which represents where this is from, so which is really cool. I do like that little detail. And then just along the straps, you do get adjustment points here for this included sternum strap, which you could use to adjust to the comfortability and stability of this backpack when you're using it. This does have a bit of stretch to it actually, this material here, which is actually really nice. Not a lot of backpacks have this sort of material here, this ribbed material to give it a bit of stretch here, which is really good. And then you do just get your generic buckles. And then on the right side of the strap here, you do get this D-ring clip, which is really good. Yeah, you do have a good height here for adjustments, so this could fit a wide range of body types. And then at the bottom here, you get these metal buckles with a bit of the branding at the bottom here, GL, which is really nice. I do like when it's metal instead of plastic. So they offer good grip as well, and adjusting it is pretty easy, especially when you have it on your back. It doesn't get too hard to adjust and it holds quite well in place. So at the back here, along the back panel here, you do have a dedicated sleeve here, and from what I can tell, it's got really nice solid padding. It's big enough to hold maybe like a 13-inch device in here, I'd say, because it does have this grey lining as well in the interior that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I do have a 13-inch or 12.9-inch iPad here, and it just about fits that in here. For a 13-inch laptop, I don't know if it will be too tight in here, because it does reach the top and the bottom already for this iPad, and this is 12.9-inch only, and it just about fits that. So I feel like for smaller tablets of this size or laptops, it might be perfect in here. But if you're looking something bigger, you might want to use the interior one that I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, there's not exactly a false bottom here as well, so just got to be careful, because if you roll it further, you'll just touch the bottom already. So moving on to the interior now, I have removed whatever's inside here, because I'm going to show you the inside as best as I can. So I'm going to open this front part here, and then you'll notice that this flap does open quite wide at the top here, and it does fold back. I'm sure this will get a bit more malleable as time goes on, once you start to use it more often, but it is quite stiff here at the moment because it needs to be break in a bit. So yeah, at the top here, you do have this open top here that you can open quite wide. You could get that top down view very easily, and a wide opening here. This type of design is usually on these type of backpacks or roll top backpacks, and I'm pretty sure you are familiar with all that. Yeah, you do have these attachment points, like I said, just clips in here, and then you do have this cord with this adjustable mechanism right here that you could just secure it down once you have it filled, or you can open it really wide and it just wraps around, weaves in and out to the sides and the back here. And then you do have all these little black rivets that I forgot to mention earlier along it to give that little detailed design. It's going to be a bit difficult to just show you, but it's very simple in here. There's nothing really much to show you. You do just have the laptop sleeve, which is very well padded at the front and at the back, so you should be okay with that. Should hold your 16-inch laptop that you have. And then just at the front of it, I'm not even sure if you can see right here, there is a bit of branding right here along here. That's the back side, and that's pretty much it. You do just get that full depth. It's hard to show in the camera, but it does go all the way down, as you can see. So all the way down to here, and you do get 19 liters of space capacity this is. And at the front side you do get a separate compartment, and this separate compartment is quite large. It can hold your phone, your sunglasses, your passport, stuff like that you want to put in here. So it can hold quite a decent bit. That's pretty much it for the interior. Very minimal, as you can clearly see, and you do have that grey lining as well that's consistent in here. Something I do want to mention as well is that once you have it sort of secured down, you might just notice that, like any of these type of design, you just have the little sides exposed. Once you clamp it all down and secure it, close it tightly, it's going to be hard to really infiltrate and grab your items, but I just want you to know that the sides are a bit exposed in that regards. So here's my 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I'm just going to put it inside. It does hold it quite nicely. It isn't fully covered, and it does expose a bit of the top here of the laptop, but it's still okay. It still holds it down perfectly fine. And let's see if this one has a false bottom. So there isn't exactly much of a false bottom, so if you do pick this one up, just be careful of setting your backpack down. So here's the on-body look of the 2.0 utility backpack, and I do like this sort of simple and clean design that it does have. It makes it a bit more smarter and casual looking as well, a bit more presentable in a sense than your typical tech vibe backpacks. And I do want to just mention that on the back it is quite flat and there isn't too much of a curvature and contouring to your body, but I think it's okay with this backpack. It gets away with it because it's not exactly to be packed out super heavy, and you won't be having it on your back for so long where it might become uncomfortable. With this type of setup on the back, I feel like this can get away with it. It isn't too bad here. So on to pricing, size and colour. The Spläsh 2.0 utility backpack comes in at £159 in the UK here, and it's the same price in euros, €159. For other currencies and regions, I'll recommend checking the Gaston Luga website to see the exact pricing. It's available in 5 colours. We got the top colourway that I've got here, Latte, Cloud Cream and Sage, Orange Flame and the Classic Black. It comes in the one size only at 19 litres, which makes it perfect for everyday carry and general daily use. I'll put the dimensions and full bag specifications on screen, so you can pause if you want to take a closer look at the sizing details. So here's the conclusion of the Spläsh 2.0 utility backpack by Gaston Luga. First off, this backpack has a really clean and stylish aesthetic. The colorways are excellent and it maintains that minimal design, not just in the flagship backpack, but across the entire product range as well. It's super versatile and it would pair well with a variety of outfits, whether you're into streetwear, something more formal, or just minimal. This backpack fits seamlessly. The materials are environmentally conscious, which is always a plus. The metal fittings and construction feel solid for everyday use, and the overall design just keeps things simple but functional as well. Now that said, this aesthetic and material will suit a certain kind of person. If you do like this rubberized polyester look, you'll enjoy it. But if you prefer an X-Pack, ballistic nylon or Cordura type of material, this might not be your go-to bag. It's really about personal preference. For me, this backpack works perfect for me because it fits the aesthetic I wanted. Something a bit more smart and polished, yet not overly formal, bridging that gap between streetwear and a bit of like smart casual. I don't have something in this type of style, so I really wanted to actually add one into my collection. One thing I love to see more is a few more compartments, maybe an extra strap for, like I mentioned, carrying a tripod, which would make it more useful for maybe photographers or content creators, but also want to keep that smart type of look as well. Interestingly, I noticed this brand is really popular in Japan. According to their Instagram anyways, I did notice that a lot of people did tag this brand. I could assume that it's because this minimalist design fits perfectly well with their local fashion style. Kind of makes a bit of sense there. In terms of pricing at $159, I think it's fairly priced for what you get in this type of design and category. At this price range, I do feel like it is reasonable for a high quality bag and very stylish and environmentally conscious backpack. But if you made it this far, I do have a special discount code for you, which you can actually use to save 15% off your order at Gaston Luga if you wanted to actually pick this up. Honestly, 15% off will bring it down to your price. I think it's actually where it should be, if I'm going to be honest. It's a nice little saving, and just a heads up, this can't be used on already discounted products. Big shout out to Gaston Luga for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. support for the channel and giving me a chance to learn about the brand. I'm actually quite interested in their products after discovering it and learning a bit about them. I'd love to continue this collaboration in the future and showcase more of the products for you guys. Yeah, thank you Gaston Luga for making this review possible. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff you already know, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much.